Hi and welcome to this video lesson in Arduino microcontrollers. Today we're going to be making our HC-SR04 ultrasonic sensor work with another object. In this case we're going to be making a door alarm. So whenever an object crosses a doorway, the ultrasonic sensor is going to read that there was movement in the doorway, and then it's going to sound a buzzer. Now this is important because we're going to start learning how to make the ultrasonic sensor interact with other objects, and that's a key step in understanding how to make our eventual autonomous robot using this. So let's get started and open up a sketch in our Arduino editor, and we need to start like we did last time with constant integers. So we're going to do constant integer, and remember we need the trigger pin. Yep. And we're going to set that to 2. And we need a constant integer for the echo pin because we don't want that to be changing. And we're going to set that to 3. Next, we need to set an integer for our buzzer pin. So we can set the same thing. We can just do constant integer buzzer. And we're going to set that on pin 10. Next, we need to create an integer for time. And oops, helps when you spell correctly, right? So we need to create an integer for time and an integer for distance. Okay. Next, in our void setup, so that's void setup, start parenthesis, end parenthesis, start curly bracket. We need to start our serial command, so serial.begin, and let's set that baud rate at 9600. And next we need to set the pin mode for the trigger pin as an output, the echo pin as an output, and the buzzer as an output. So remember, that looks like this. Make sure you are using the same integers that you created up above. So trigger pin is an output. Then we can have our echo pin as an input. And then our buzzer as an output device. Once we have that set up, we can exit the void setup and jump straight into the void loop. Here we will set a digital write, like we did in our last one for the trigger pin. We're going to set that as high. Then we're going to do a delay microseconds of 10. Next, we're going to do a digital write to turn off the trigger pin. Once we have that turned off, we can then create our time, just like we did last time with creating the duration. We're just changing the integer name a little bit. So we go time equals the pulse in of our echo pin. And we're turning on that echo pin. Next, we create the distance calculation, just like last time. So distance equals, and we'll call this one time times 0.0343. Exit out of that with an in parentheses divided by 2, so /2. And now we can start creating some calculations. In this case, we're going to do if-else statements here. So we're going to say if, and then in parentheses, our distance is less than or equal to, less than equals 10. We'll hit enter, start curly bracket, hit enter, and we'll do serial dot print line, so print ln, and we're going to say the door is open, right? Door open. Then we'll do serial dot print, and we want to know the distance, right? Just so we know what's going on there. So we'll go start quotation mark distance equals, and then end quotation mark in parentheses semicolon, and we'll do serial dot print line, so print ln, and we're going to have it print that distance that we created back up here. So distance, just making sure I have everything right there. And then we can do digital write. And this is where we turn on our buzzer. So we go buzzer, comma, we're turning it on, hi. And then we'll have a delay of 500 milliseconds. Once we have that done, we can scroll down a little bit, exit out of this code that we've just done here, hit enter. All right, so we're exiting out of the string here. You can see my start, or my end curly bracket is attached to this correct start curly bracket. And next we're going to do else, start curly bracket, enter. And we're going to do serial dot print ln, start parentheses, start quotation mark, and we'll just say door closed. Again, helps if you can spell, right? So end quotation mark, end parentheses, semicolon, then we'll do serial dot print, and we'll do, again, we're doing the same up here of distance equals, so we'll go start quotation mark distance equals, and you know what, I'm going to add a space up here just so we're keeping consistency, exiting out of that because that's all I needed. Now enter. So that's start quotation mark distance space equals space end quotation mark parentheses semicolon. And we can go down here and add the serial dot print line. And it's going to print the distance for us. And we're going to turn off the buzzer because we don't want to listen to a screeching buzzer all the time. So we do that digital write. And we'll do buzzer, comma, low. And again, we'll add a delay of 500 milliseconds. Oops, that was my bad. Do not put that in parentheses. And that's it. Let's make sure all of our strings are correct. This one's connecting here. Our last curly bracket is connecting up to the top of our void loop, and let's verify to check it, and it's good to go. And now we can build this out. So much like we did when we were just playing with the ultrasonic sensor there, remember we have our trigger pin that has to be connected to line 2, echo pin is connected to line 3, and if you look at your buzzer, you're going to see on the top of it there's usually a little plus sign that indicates which side is the positive. Right, so our positive is going to go into pin 10, and the negative is going to go into ground. Same with the ultrasonic sensor, we have VCC goes into 5 volt, and ground goes into ground. Pretty simple setup there. Now, if you have any questions and you're watching this as part of Google Classroom, please leave those questions there, or if you're watching this on YouTube, you have any comments or questions, please feel free to leave those in the comment section below. And as always, thanks for watching.